All right, no questions, so I'll just keep chugging along. So these are some really good ones coming up. These are the ones that are correlated with the SPX. So this is going to be some that are really important to get that market indication, kind of what's happening with the market. Dips are going to happen in the market, so dips are going to happen in the stocks, and you can buy on some of those dips. I know that, but if you can find a stock or stocks that are correlated to the SPX or correlated, to the NASDAQ or the Russell, and they're highly correlated, that can give you some really good indication, in my mind, that if you do get a pullback in that stock, but you still believe that SPX is somewhat bullish, buying that stock on that dip, if it is highly correlated, could offer you some good returns. But again, testing it and verifying that within the platform is crucial. I mean, that kind of helps back up your thoughts with some true analysis and some true data. All right, so 1 year SPX correlation with a deep pullback. A deep pullback, again, we've talked about it before, a moderate to a large drop in the stock price from recent peaks and possibly a continued uptrend. So with this one, we're looking for a more aggressive pullback. So instead of a state 2, we're talking about a state 4, and we're talking about state 4 target 2 being met, and the stock has to be highly correlated with the S&P 500. We talked about this state 1, state 2, possibly state 4 being a moderate pullback or a dip. And again, using the secondary confirmation, so using 2 signals to come together to make 1 signal, or using multiple signals, I think just gives you more validity to your trades. Your trade sample size might decrease because you're being more selective, but I think that should also help increase the probability of some of these trades. So the 1 year correlation signal, we're talking about a correlation with the SPX being greater than or equal to 85%, 0.85, and we're talking about a 1 year time frame, which is 252 trading days. And again, state modeling, we're going to have it set for state 4, target 2 being met today. The correlation it's measured a -1 to a 1, with -1 being inversely correlated and 1 being perfectly correlated. So typically, if it's correlated, it's going to be moving in a somewhat correlated direction, or inversely, then they should be moving in the opposite direction from each other. So what I'm showing you here is this is part of the screener that we have within the platform. You can see Delphian Studies is here. So on the same page on 3/17 of this year, what I did was I used the new liquid options list that we have, and I said, show me all of the stocks that are highly correlated, higher than 85% for the 1 year to the SPX. And on that day, there was 57 symbols that had populated, but we can see, I'm looking at ETN, and ETN is right here at the top. So Eaton Corp, it's 90% correlated to the SPX on this particular day. So this just kind of shows you a graph comparison between the two. SPX is on your left here, and ETN is on your right. Same day time frame that I used, and I used 1 year for both. So you can see, I mean, we can see some little dips here, here, this dip with that. So you can see pretty correlated, 90% seems pretty fair. State modeling, we've talked about again, state 4, target 2 is what we're looking at. So we can see on 3/17, ETN was in state 4, and it hit its target 2 of 72.43. So 72.43 was met on this day. You can see this bar here. It dropped below and almost hit our target 3. 70.28 was the low on the stock. 69.76 was actually the target 3 projection. So both of those targets, the correlation matches on that day above 85%, and this target, state 4 target 2 has been met on that same day. So on that day, 3/17, under the high probability trades, we got this 1 year SPX deep pullback long call set up. So the signal had come about. We can see the actual prices here as they were met. We can see the correlation between the SPX here also. Again, clicking on the X, it's going to show me the trade. Buying the June 19th $90 call, and I'm looking to pay $383 for it. Again, 25% profit off of $383, $479. The ETN long calls, the results for the long call, we can see here on 3/17, stock was at 73.74. We bought the June 90 call at 383, And then a handful of days later, I mean, we're almost talking probably 40 days later, so it did take a bit of time. You can see on 6/5, the 90 call sold for 705. Stock was at 95.43. So we're getting pretty close to expiration. So 6/5 expiration was 6/19. So you can see we had a nice little jump up there at the end. The bull call results, we can see here, 317, stock was at 73.74. We bought a 50.75 call spread, paid 16.45 for it. And on 326, a lot faster than that long call, we were able to get out for that profit. So we were able to make that 225 profit there. The bull put, we can see we collected, I think this might be a little bit, we have to see what happened on the end of day data there, because the one option, we get all of our options data from a third-party source, so they send us all of the options data, but we can look real quick. When we close this trade out on that day, the $45 put has a higher value than the $50 put. Maybe one traded and one didn't, but whatever the case may be, we can see that that shouldn't be accurate just based on the value. So if you see something like this on a bull call, we pull in the data. It is end of day data using a third-party source, so an options price could be off. So make note of it, look into it a little bit further. You can go back and look at the option chain and see, but we can see sold it for 45 and 325. We should have got out for a little bit of a profit. So strategy results since January 2018 for that 1 year SPX deep pullback correlation. The long call, $45,000 in profit, 1.99 profit factor, and then 79% win rate. We can see our profit per day, average number of trades. You can look at 21 average days in the trade, 21. We can see barring this first part here to November, you got a nice slope on this equity graph. Bull call, pretty good as well. Nice slope, little dip here when COVID, $70,000 in profit, 88% win rate. And then the bull put, another nice sloping graph, dips in here, dips here for COVID, but again, a 1.79 profit factor, 90% win rate, with a fair risk. You're in the trade a little bit longer, 34 days on average, but still a great trade. So that was 1 year SPX correlation deep pullback in a nutshell. Questions?